Oh, what up, chat? Now, see if I do the overlay, you guys won't be able to see the show. When I get into the review, maybe I'll change it so that way you guys can see it. I can't play a lot of clips, obviously, because then AMC takes the stream down. So, but I like to pull it up. I have it pulled up now, the episode, so that way when I'm going through the review, I can kind of show a scene or two. But I don't know if that's necessary, though, because before I forget, I'm going to go ahead and put a straw, not a straw poll. That's a poll in the chat, so you guys can go ahead and vote on if you thought the episode. Now, this time we will split it up. This episode, you either are positive, you're, let's do like a meh, like it doesn't matter, good or bad, it just whatever, indifferent basically, and then we'll do a negative. So, episode Dead City, episode 2, you're either positive, meh, let's add an option, negative. Alright, so positive, meh, negative. Let's put the poll up, go ahead and vote after my first impression review. We'll pull the poll back up so that way I can include it in the clip, because I'm going to clip this spoiler review while I drink my black water here and maybe turn into, what are those friggin' alien things from Alien? Is this open? Bro, check this out. It's actually black water. How ridiculous is that? Who made this and they were like, I know how to sell water. I'll make it black. Bro, that's so weird. It's just water. But it's black. Damn. It don't look right. It's like flat soda. Or dirt. You know? It's so black that it doesn't look dirty. You know what I'm saying? Because imagine if it was like muddy. Like floating mud. But look at this. Black. More than water. Wait, why is it more than water? It's water. Oh, okay. It's got some shit in it. Infused with some shit. I don't know, electrolytes, antioxidants, amino acids. Oh, well, shit. I'll drink it then. It's how weird is that? My brain is like, this is gross because it's black. That sounds so bad. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'm racist against the black water. Something about it. But you can't taste anything other than regular bottled water. I let it sit out too long. It's not cold anymore. Anyhow, let's pull up the... I got the thing going. Let me pull up the chat. Make sure you guys can even friggin' hear me. Well, I didn't think of that earlier. Dumbass. Pop out the chat. Pop out that chat. Alright, let me pull it over here. Let me see. Infused with charcoal. Well, shit. Where is he? Mallory says, I like the episode more than you did. First time for that from your reaction. Ronnie, man, I know I'm very active, but I absolutely love these Sunday streams. Thank you very much, Harry Potter. I was going to ask the stream tonight if you guys even care about doing Sunday streams anymore. Because the episode is early on AMC Plus, so technically we could just do the streams, you know, a different night. I mean, we could do it Friday, Saturday. Now I'm going to start the new job soon, which is Monday through Friday. I don't work weekends, not yet anyway. After a few months when I do get weekend work, that's going to be, it doesn't matter. But the point is Monday through Friday, 7 to 7. So technically, I could do a stream later in the night, like 8, 9 in the night. I just don't know how that will work. So I'll look for comments for you guys to see if you want to just keep doing it. The streams on Sunday. And I'll do a spoiler-free quickie review if I have time during the weekday, like Thursday, Friday. Maybe we'll just keep it. 2 forced ads? Are you serious? Bro, I shut those off the last time someone said they got some sort of ad during the stream, because you should not be getting the forced ads for live streams. Like, because they changed it to where when something comes up, Wait, can you please review the last 6 episodes of Fear? I already did, Gilly. I already did. Thank you very much for the $2 super chat, but I already reviewed Fear of the Walking Dead. The new season, I did every single... Not only did I do a stream for each episode, but I did a clipped review of just my review. So at this point in time, there's zero excuse for not watching those reviews because... You know, people said I don't want to watch the stream. Well, that's aight, bro. I clipped it. Anyhow, Good Vibes Only says the show's been only okay so far. Great moments. I do hope. Yeah, well, I'm going to get into the good and the bad. It looks like you guys are here. You can see me good. I'm going to go ahead and get into my thoughts and opinions. Now, if you're new here, I'll make this real quick. I'm going to do my own thoughts and opinions. So if you do a donation to the channel or tip or anything like that, I will cover it as soon as my my review is over. I'm also going to clip the review and upload that solo for those who don't like clicking on the streams. And then I will let you know when the review starts and when it ends, and then when the feedback for you guys begins, so that way if you have a comment or question and you want to hold it off for 10 minutes until I'm done, and then we can cover your comment on the stream, then I'll let you know then. One more from Gilly, $2 super chat. Thank you very much, Gilly. I'm talking about the final 6, yada, yada, yada. All right, now the final 6. How did I read your first comment? Because that might be my fault. Can you please review the last 6 episodes? Okay, I read your comment like the last, the past 6 episodes, but you mean like the actual last 6 of Fear? Without Morgan there, I'll be honest with you. Without Morgan there, I just don't know if I can do it. The Fear streams brought in some people, but they're not hitting. They're really not hitting. There's a limited amount of people. I mean, there's just not support there. I don't know. When Fear returns, I'm going to be doing my regular job by then, grinding. I just don't know if the Fear streams are... I could potentially do talking head 10 to 15 minute reviews. That's if I watch the episodes. I will tell you one thing, though. I will make a video when Troy comes back, because holy shit, that's going to be so laughably, ridiculously, terribly brain dead bad. I'm talking about that shit, because wow, I will talk about that. But all I can say is I'll let you know, Gilly, when they come back. It depends on when Troy enters the scene, because I mean that might encourage me to do a little discussion. But like I said, the streams themselves, I don't know if I can do it, but at least a review video that's a 10 minutes, that's possible for sure. That's possible. That's more possible. But I'm gonna try. Anyhow, all right. So let's review Dead City. I don't even, I don't even know if we need clips because the AMC player sucks. Maybe I'll see if I can pull up the player and play a little clips, but hold on for now, because I got to reset it. Yeah, it's already acting funky too, but let me click on it again to refresh it. Let me take a sip of my little diversity water. Okay, let's talk The Walking Dead, Dead City, Super Dead, Dead The Walking Dead, episode 2 of season 1, called The Dead of the Dead in the Dead of Night during the dead time of day. I don't know. I don't even know what this episode is even called. Who's There is the name of the episode. All right. Who's there? Knock, knock. I get it. Okay, I actually get that now because I'm dumb. All right, so kicking this off, we have the old woman who steals Maggie's bag off screen in between episodes. This is old school Walking Dead bullshit that is stupid, and they need to stop doing it. It would make the episodes better. When something vital is off screen, they need to really have a little powwow and discuss what benefit does it do, and is it stupid and shitty. The old woman stealing the bag is stupid and shitty because apparently they turn around with the little match and she blows the match out and snatches the bag. But the way it's clunkily done between the start and stop of the old episode and the new episode It's shit. All right, moving on. We get zip lines. This is both a pro and a con. It's kind of cool seeing them zip around and how they move throughout the city, but I kind of feel like we're going to get this one more time in the episode, and they're going to talk about how much world building they do. Oh yeah, ain't it cool how they zip line? Well, we didn't see it much, so I will leave a caveat here. It's definitely cool, but I want to see a little more with the zip lines. I don't know if that's going to be possible because it's probably a bigger budget, you know, to film. This one in this episode was fine because they did this little alleyway scene, but if you do ones that are a little more open with the city, that might be a little more difficult. But I like the concept of the zip lines. I just don't want it to be like we used it once and twice and forgot about it. All right. The title screen I mentioned, friggin' awesome. I loved it. There's this new hilltop, and I had to laugh. It's not even worth bringing up, but the new hilltop is very diverse. I give it a lot of props on that. I mean, it is a no white man land paradise, and I fucking loved it. Fuck white people, right? All right, so they did mention Oceanside, or they called her Oceanside. I thought this was a poor little, and this is real nitpicky, I thought that was a poor thing to put in there, because is she somebody who came from, you know, the side of the ocean, you know what I'm saying? From a boat off the ocean, or is this someone that came from the community of Oceanside? And if that's the case, is that community still there? I mean, what happened with it? There's just, I don't know. I got the view the first time I watched it that she's supposed to be from Oceanside, but then it hit me, maybe he's saying she's from off the ocean, and maybe it's just me being dumb. That's fine. One other con is something that I talked about called empty interiors and then the photo exteriors. I don't have a clever name for it, but that is just self-descriptive. The empty interiors is, quite frankly, I am going to pull up some imagery to kind of help. Let me see if I have my folder of where the interior is empty. Yes, I do actually. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up to give you an example. Where is my, here we go. The overlay is going to have to take a timeout. So the live overlay is taking a timeout. I'm going to take my little screen and shrink it down some. Then I'm going to move over the picture and put it right here. So, okay, you guys can see me good on screen. Here's the little picture. Here's part of the problem. This is the hallway that they enter. Now, think about this visually. You want to pack a punch when you create a awesome post-apocalyptic visual. We get this a lot in the Walking Dead franchise, and we're already seeing it in Dead City. I know people are talking about Dead City having like a 10, 12 million budget per episode, which I don't believe that. I know where that number comes from, and I think people are kind of warping where that number, the number comes from the amount of money that was put into the economy where they filmed. And that came from, I think it was the mayor or something said, we love having them film The Walking Dead here. Our economy saw a roughly $70 million influx of money from rent and stuff, hiring people, doing this, doing that, yada, yada, yada. And there's a lot of factors that go into budgeting and what goes on in the show and just other bullshit. We need more information. That's not clean cut. That doesn't mean every dime went into budgeting and not something else. So there's other factors. So it could be the budget's more closer to even half of that. We don't know. And saying the economy saw an estimated 70 million bump from a mayor that wants it to look even better for his community, that's just not enough, solid information. If you have better information at this time, I'm willing to hear it. If it's coming from that estimate, though, I'm skeptical until we get something solid. With that being said, this shit needs to stop. I don't care if the actors themselves gotta, bring shit from a fucking flea market. I don't give a wild, wicked shit at this point. These interiors bash my head off a steel dick. What the fuck? How boring is this shit? And then we have the photo exteriors. This is something that is both a a pro and I'm sorry. There's more empty interior, and when you walk into this area, look how empty this is. This is insane. Now, keep in mind, I praised this episode when I did the spoiler-free, and I think fixing these problems would take the episode and bump it up. If you thought it was okay, you'd probably think it was good. If you thought it was great, you'd probably think it was amazing. It can only make it better, and I'm not talking about, oh, Ronnie, so what? It's an empty room. We're focused on what the characters are doing. I guarantee you take these characters and you put them in this, wicked-looking post-apocalyptic interior skyscraper setting, guarantee you your vibe of the scene and what's going on and the characters and the world building and the interactions, I guarantee it gets a bump. Because what we have here now is just, urban woods. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no difference than filming in the woods. Visually, this is shit. There's nothing here. Now, next, the problem, it's both a pro and a con. This is similar to sitcom TV, where they show the exterior of a house, and then they cut it and fade into the actors on a soundstage, and they're all like, so this is what we're doing, this is what, and you never see those sitcom people outside of the exteriors because it's far more expensive to film instead of them on set sound stages and whatnot. TV is very similar, even though The Walking Dead feels very different from sitcom TV. It shares traits because they do this establishing shot photo work. Now, what they'll do is they'll take this still image, and they'll do some special effects where they have some birds flying, some smoke here, a digital car driving up the road or something. Usually looks like trash. At the end of this episode, they had a car, the CGI special effects that looked terrible. Well, it's just terrible. Anyway, it was at nighttime too. Anyhow, I love seeing these visuals, but if that's all we're getting for the visuals and we're not getting the characters in those environments, and that's why I say it is a pro and a con, but you're starting to feel like a sitcom TV where we see this establishing shot, but it's only a CGI enhanced or you know what I'm saying? Oh my god, special effects enhanced photo, and then we cut to them jumping in a window, walking down a hallway, doing some other shit. It's gonna look shitty, Anyhow, moving along, because that's a big problem that I want them to fix. That's one of the things that I was skeptical about when they said they were gonna film in New York. I said, you could probably find my old footage where I said, how much do you want to talk about, or how much do you want to bet that they do all their talking in these real boring rooms, and then the exterior is just one shot that's touched up. Now, moving on, and now here's it. We don't need them always in the exteriors. That would be insane expensive to film. But what we do is we need something punchy, at least in every episode. Now, the Negan saying, oh, that's a hell friggin' no, when the girl was like, no, hell no, I'm not going to take you there. That was a little funny line from Negan. The marshal waking up was kind of stupid. He got knocked out on the ground. And again, I say this because I want better writing, even when it's a positive episode, because some of this stuff is, it might not break the episode itself, but you're dangerously close to leaning back on some of those weak and tired, it's not tricks, but it's not even gimmicks. It's just lazy techniques. Now, the marshal got knocked out. There's fresh zombies all around. We see him wake up. Now, maybe he woke up on his own, crawled somewhere, and knocked himself back out. I don't fucking know. But it looks like that. It's terrible. It's stupid. No one moved him. You could pretend like someone moved him. That's all dumb. He should have woke up and been in the same spot he was, and luckily somehow didn't get eaten yet, but came close, and then call it a day. Next up, the satin chat. This is something that connects to earlier, where the characters, Negan and Maggie, get locked in a boring bathroom. And I love the dialogue here, because Negan's talking about the Croat. He builds up the Croat story. Loved all that, right? But this is very similar to even what The Last of Us did. Remember when Ellie goes on the journey with Tess and Joel. And Tess is like, I'll scout out ahead. They were in this beautiful environment. Then they go into this really boring hallway with like some dirty drywall. And Tess goes off screen. And then Joel and Ellie get a chance to talk a minute. Now, there's no way you're going to get around this stuff for TV. There's no way. It's just too expensive to film, especially in scenes where you got to do touch-up. But this is post-apocalypse. This is the post-apocalypse. I mean, why can't you take some scenes, some scenery that has some vines? Sure, you don't want anything with wind, because if you got to do an edit and you have vines that are blowing in the wind, it's going to screw up the edit. But take something where you have like 2x4s breaking through, a leak happened here, and you have beautiful vines going. Both The Last of Us, which is insane, it probably would have been hella affordable to have some asshole just throw that together and you have it in a part of the background shot. Both The Last of Us and The Walking Dead did that here, and they're probably going to do it quite a bit. And it blows my mind, because I can pay someone $50 to make like a busted out thing that you can put in the back of the frame if I was doing a movie. And it's probably made out of foam. I just don't understand why that wasn't done. Now, the what was said though, and it changes the betrayal, but I don't think it changes it fully. And this is something I mentioned before. If Maggie was to betray Negan to the Croat, it might not have been her plan. She might have concocted that, like, you know, maybe I can lure Negan, or she could still get that plan as a last-minute betrayal later on. Like, she doesn't think it right now, but she gets near to the Croat, and then Negan's not with her, and then she's like, yo, Croat, I got Negan. You want him, don't you? Because she knows, so she sets Negan up that way. I mean, that's dark, that's cold, and I'm still hoping for some twist, because, again, it just feels a little flimsy having her bring Negan along so far. Herschel was annoying. I know people said he was annoying in the comic, and that was true when he got a little older. But this was annoying in a way where it was cliche teenagers on TV, and I just think they could have done better. A little more complexity there, a little more interaction that had more depth to it between him and his mother. I just wasn't vibing with it. The weapons were cool as shit. A little weird, but let's have fun with it. It's a zombie apocalypse. I like how it's ripping out meat. I don't know how that guy got killed right away so fast by having a chunk of his chest ripped out. Even if it was his lungs, let's get a cool, like, choking on his own blood. He rips his helmet off, he's trying to breathe, and he's just choking on his blood. Do something cool with it, you know? Instead, he just gets a chunk of flesh ripped off on his chest, and he just dies immediately. I think he probably would have died, but I just think it would have took a little longer than that. And again, let's make this gritty, you know? The new character death, I didn't care. The little old lady. It was laughable how he pulled out a nail. I mean, let's pull this scene here, because I thought maybe I was losing my mind. What do I have here? Oh, yeah, this stuff is good. Here's the scene. Is this the bathroom? Yeah. This guy, they show an exterior shot. And then this guy, the bounty hunter, just jumps inside. See, here's an exterior shot. I might be in the way somewhat. Exterior shot, looks nice, yada, yada, yada. He walks down here for like 2 minutes. Then he just jumps in a window. This is stuff where it's cheating the shots, and I'm just not a big fan of it. I like what little we got there. And here is... yeah, see the CGI cars there? That looks pretty bad. Here is, no, that's a good, that's a awesome moment. Here's where they put the old lady down. Look, he's got a little nail. It's going to be hard to see that. Does he pull out yet? I wonder how I can cover up the screen. Maybe if I open this up. There was a scene where Rosita, yeah, see this little nail here? There was a scene where Rosita had like these 3 like nails on her glove or whatever, and she was punching, it was all badass, but it just like scratched the zombie. And I remember flipping at that point, because you should make it, yeah, look at that little itty bitty nail. You should make it, he even holds it up to the camera, God damn it. You should make it to where the zombies have more of a threat. Killing them with a nail isn't doing it. Honestly, it should be to the point where you have to damage enough of the brain, so even at times they can shoot a zombie in the head and it just doesn't damage enough of the brain, so they have to do a follow-up shot to the brain. That adds more danger, more threat to the zombies. This little nail, he just slides it into her skull like a jelly, like her skull was made out of jelly. Some of that is stupid. The setup for this, though, I don't mind. I mean, they run into new people. She's even older. I do wish they had a better connection with her and the older lady leading them there instead of she ran away with my bag. But you kind of get the point. Negan versus the enemies. Now, this is probably one of the best parts. And this, I think, was absolutely needed. Let me make sure I'm not... and I covered this before because our characters need to be saved, helped, aided by Negan's type of leadership. I was talking about this way back when the comic was during the past the all-out war and in the Whisperers and the Savior storyline. That makes it not only revealing his backstory, but showing how effective his leadership is and why it works. It's vital to making an amazing story. You don't need it. It's not vital to his story, but it makes it better. You can just have an awesome villain, but it brings everything into a more complex dynamic. And on top of that, I think the story has greater complexity and depth if Negan regains leadership powers, but does something different. Because if he's always at the mercy of Rick and Maggie and Daryl and whoever, if he's always at their mercy, then when he shows these softer sides, when he helps out communities and people, you don't know if he's just helping out the person who's going to come out on top, or if he's helping them out because he is in the weaker position and he's just vying for that spot on top until he gets to that leadership role. So that is something, and I'm bringing it up now just because I want the Dead City series to make it there. And then we get the best part. This is Negan taking a what are they called? Barazzi? Taking a Barazzi Nazi? I don't know. And doing the knock-knock, smashes the windows out. The good and the bad in this scene, and I think it's because it's easier to film. See how the guy's like knocked out? He'd be dead weight and he'd be dropping to the ground. Here's an interesting dynamic. I love this scene. You have such an awesome scene. Why would you weigh it down with something stupid as this guy is pretty much unconscious? Now, he's not unconscious because he's standing up. But if he's not unconscious, explain to me how he's just like... Now, I know why they're doing that. It's cheaper to film. You get an extra, tell him, okay, go like this the whole time. And then you don't have to worry about continuity. You don't have to worry about him fucking shit up. His lines, him making noise when Negan's talking or blah, blah, blah. You don't have to worry about any of that. Which, you know, is quicker to film, less this, less that, less worries about continuity. Yeah, fine, but it looked terrible. The beginning of this scene, I didn't like it the first time. The beginning of this scene, I was like, oh, it would lead into like, oh shit, this is Negan. But then this extra is like, and I was thinking in my head, like, it started pulling me out of it. Is he unconscious? If he's unconscious, how is Negan holding him up with one arm? This is kind of dumb. But then the scene gets real badass, and it made up for him being unconscious. But these are those small things that all throughout the episode, they can touch up and add so much more to the episode. Even when the guy is on the banister, yeah, he's got a rat tail too. That's a terrible...
Shit, are you kidding me? Seriously? You have...
even him here, it's the whole thing. But then when he cuts his throat and blood rains down, rips his guts open, blood rains down, throws the body over, Maggie sees it even. That was subtlety, poorly done again. We should have had more subtlety with... you know, Negan and Maggie noticing each other in that moment. But The Walking Dead has been bad with subtlety for a while. But damn did I love that scene. They do go off later, talk with these new people, and they kind of join forces to attack the Croat, and the Croat finds the bounty hunter. So we're 2 episodes in, and I'm not sure what direction the bounty hunter story is going to go. Part of me kind of feels like it could be setting up for Maggie having to rescue Negan. I just don't know why he's in there yet. Because what if they rescue the bounty hunter from Negan? It doesn't matter. No, I'm sorry. What if Negan rescues the bounty hunter from the Croat? It doesn't matter. I mean, we don't know enough or care enough, or nothing's going on plot-wise. The bounty hunter right now has me at a little bit of a... we could speculate later about what it is, but as of right now, whether he lives, he dies, whether he captures Negan, kills Negan, I mean, at this point in time, it does nothing but slow the plot down or move it a little bit. Like, if he kidnaps Negan, the plot deviates slightly. Maggie has to rescue Negan and then continue with the thing. So there's no real definitive change. If you guys got better ideas, or you know of something, or you saw something in the trailer, let me know. But right now I'm a little stuck on the bounty hunter. He just kind of comes off as a lingering plot point that will be effective towards the end of the season, but is kind of just, you know, a character they're building on for now. He could most likely survive even and join Negan and Maggie by, you know, entering into season 2. I don't know yet. I'm still keeping eyes on it, but for right now, it just feels a little pointless. Yeah, that's it. They say they're going to help, and then they snatched a bounty hunter. Now, let me move this back. We will go over... oh, there it is. We're going to go over the poll and see what you guys have to say. I don't think we need any more clips. Yeah, let's get this out of here. We don't need any more clips. We're going to go over the poll, though, and see what you guys have to say. If you haven't voted, I'll give you like 30 seconds. Jump down to the poll real quick and vote, and I'll pop that up on the screen. Matter of fact, I have to actually drop this back down to see it. Let me get a sip and we'll do it. And I hear that. There's a number of people in chat that are saying for them it's just okay. They expected it to, like, good vibes, expected it to be better. And, you know, some people are just not liking it as much as I do now. It's a tricky thing because I see a lot of people where, you know, one episode doesn't change whether they like the season or not. You know, on a whole, people like, I like this episode, I don't like this episode, I like this episode, I hate this episode, I hate this episode, I hate this episode. I thought the season was okay. But for me, if I don't like even half the episodes, but I don't like it in a way that kind of ruin what everything holds together, I don't like the season. Even though I might love, you know, 2 or 3 episodes. Another thing for me is my expectations for The Walking Dead is low. So, yeah, I'm loving certain scenes. I'm really feeling good about episode 1 and 2, because if 3, 4, 5, and 6 are fire, then 1 and 2 are good setup for those episodes. They're okay setup for those episodes. And if those are fire, then that's all. We got a solid season. Great. But if episodes, even though I was so positive on 1 and 2, if 3, 4, 5, and 6 are just okay, it does bring 1 and 2 down. Because again, the promise of the potential for what's coming, it gets annihilated, or it's not there. So as much as I'm into 1 and 2, if the rest don't ramp it up some, my vibes and how much I like 1 and 2 go down. It level out, I should say, because it's based off of the potential of the rest of the season for the stories. I just want to throw that out there because every time we review singular episodes and then we get to the end, people are like, oh, well, you were loving the beginning, and then, you know, then later you were like, it's just okay. That's because each season, each episode as it airs, it levels how you feel for the whole season. Now, let's shut down the poll and see what you guys have to say. I'm going to put it on the screen. I have to get rid of beautiful Jeffrey Dean Morgan in order to show it. Where's that? Live overlay. There we go. So here is the poll. Yeah, you guys can see it right there. Allergies got a little messed up. All right, so Dead City episode 2, 77% positive, 21% meh, and 0 negative. That's listen, I knew negative was going to come in at a low, but that's actually surprising. And you know what? I think I might stick with going back to doing the 3 choices, because if it was positive versus negative, I understand we might have like 100% positive, and that might feel different. But now that we know, wow, there's no negative on this. However, I mean, there was probably 1 or 2 people, but it wasn't a high enough percentage to even count. However, because what is that? That's 98%. How does that work? They only show us 98%. So does that mean 2% was in negative, or am I dumb right now? Yeah, because 7 and 1 is 8. 7 and 2 is 9. That's 98%. Where's the other 2%? What happened there? Wait a minute. What? Wait a minute, yo. Wait a fucking minute. All right, let's go to the chat and see what you guys have to say. Okay, so you guys saw the poll. This is the end of my first impression review. I thought to end my first impression review, I thought the episode had some flaws sprinkled in there. It's better than I was expecting. 1 and 2 was better than I was expecting going into this series originally, and it definitely sets up some serious promise for what's to come. And I think I would have to rate this episode around a 7 out of 10. However, that'll fluctuate depending on how good the episodes are throughout the rest of the season. That could stay at what it's at, but if the rest of the episodes don't really boost much for this, it'll fall back down to a 6 out of 10 for sure. If the setup isn't there, or the payoff for the setup, if it's not there. Because basically the coolest thing would be, the Negan moment. Because again, look at the Croat. I liked hearing about the Croat, hearing about Negan's backstory. But imagine if the interaction with the Croat is just kind of meh, then his story in rewatching, who gives a shit? Because it was meh. You see what I'm saying? So that's why my scoring system and my brain functions that way. But all right, so that's it for this episode. We're gonna get into fan feedback. There is one thing I want to show you guys, but I don't know where the pictures are. I'm gonna try to find them, but I might just do a separate video on it. I'm gonna write it down. But a statue company called Prime One, they revealed a brand new The Last of Us Part 1, the remake. The Last of Us statue. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have money to get it.
Live stream.
Hey, thank you very much, Anon. Let me throw you down. The very first tipper of the night. Why did that sound low? I'm going to have to turn up some sounds. But I'll tell you right now, you're going to have money to get it. Because we're talking, this is like the big, $1,000, $1,500 statue. But if you're into those high-end stuff, I wanted to at least show pictures of it off. And if you're new to them, they don't release for like a year, 2 years, so you got time. But it is so cool because it's got Joel about to kill a clicker, and then Ellie behind him standing on like rubble about to shoot the clicker too. A really cool statue. All right, so let me add Anon for the top tipper. Really appreciate the tips right now. I know I got a broken chair. That's going to be the very next investment, is to fix this frickin' chair. I can feel it wobbling a little by little. I think I'm going to have to get rid of it after this week, because when it goes, I'm probably going to be falling on the ground, and I'm not trying to do that shit. All right, Anon. And I was thinking about getting an office, because gaming chairs are great, but they make office chairs for like long periods of sitting. for editors and you know, people in the office doing accounting or whatever the fuck you're doing. And they make really good ones. I know some people on YouTube really think gaming chair is the only place where it's at, but that's not necessarily true. Gaming chairs have nice functions where you can lay your head and yada, yada, yada. You can just nerd out and fucking sleep in your chair. However, if I get the office chair instead of the gaming chair, the back won't be there, so you guys would see more of the background instead of having this. So I don't know if I want to do that just to get rid of that back, you know? I don't know. But I appreciate all the tips, all the support, super chats, hitting the like button. All of it helps tremendously. And I'm going to be starting a new job in about a week and a half. I go in for my interview this week. That's going to be friggin' awesome, because then I can fund what we're doing on this channel and my comic even more. I'm hyped for that. Good, decent pay, but it's got even better promise of pay later on, because I'm going to be training to do HVACs and whatnot. I'm fucking psyched. I mean, it's going to suck because I'm going to work every day at every damn day for that. When I get hired on, you're going to be on call. The shit sucks, but at least the pay is decent. So, and the good part is I plan on, you know, pumping some stuff into getting the content done. So even though I'm away working, I do want to hire an editor so that way I can come home, spend a few hours putting together the Flaw vs. Awe, and then kick it to the editor. So, you know, I'm out working the job, and he can sit there, get paid to edit the video together, and then boom, you know, I could still pump out those reviews, and I don't have to worry about editing, you know, 40 hours a week for one video. So I'm hyped. Anyhow, what was I gonna do? We did that. Let me go up and see what we were doing. The episode was good. I have zero expectations, so if I'm watchable, I'm good. You think the bounty hunter will die saving Negan? I don't know why he would die saving Negan, though. I don't know. One thing that threw me off, when Maggie said that she needs him to save her son, I kind of wanted to see something from the bounty hunter that made me like him, but then he just was like, so what, and tried killing her. And from that moment on, I didn't like the bounty hunter. I mean, the bounty hunter has done nothing that I liked, and I don't know why they did this. Because if as a fan, you know, I'm watching this, and I would expect the bounty hunter to do something cool, you know, to be slick, to do something cool, to have a good charm and charisma. He's just kind of this boring stoic, you know what I'm saying? Like this boring matter of fact. I just don't think it works, man. The bounty hunter, even if he's matter of fact, he should have came in, done some crazy cool, you know, zombie kill, did some shit to evade the zombies, something crazy and cool, and then get caught. Because right now, he's just a dipshit that doesn't really do anything that gets caught. I mean, maybe I'm being too hard on him, but yeah, he shot his own guy, tried to kill Maggie. I don't know, man. You know, he acts like the law, like in an asshole way. I just don't like the bounty hunter, but I want to love the bounty hunter, you know? Anyway, Baby Beard said, yeah, that's only 98%. I don't know. Definitely not negative. I feel like it's a decent watch, but doesn't blow your socks off like it did 13 years ago. But that's very true. It's not like it was 13 years ago. Don't get me wrong, it's leaps and bounds better than Fear, but I guess I just got my hopes up a little too high. I don't think 3 to 6 will be better. Maybe good, great. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's much they can do between, you know, 3 to 6 to just blow your mind. But I'm pulling for them that they have a really solid season with something that's like, whoa, you know, like, wow, we need more of that. And then season 2, they can just go, okay, listen, this worked. This experiment worked. Let's do some tight writing, good character work. Let's have them re-fall in love with, you know, The Walking Dead. Like, I don't want to keep bringing up like my comic, but I was looking up reference images of artists that that were working on zombies, and I was looking at ArtStation and other stuff where artists have their work. And let me show you something that I pulled up where I was starting to go down this rabbit hole of images, and I was like, man, like this is what we're missing. We're missing, you know, creepy, atmospheric, just these really cool images of zombies. I'll show you here in a second. And we're missing it in a way that you know, whatever you're watching on screen, someone very passionate about the zombie genre and showcasing the zombie genre, excuse me, they were behind this. You know, and like, I'll just pull up one like little example. I might have to just mute me for a second, but let's take the overlay off. Let's take my webcam off. Like, just look at this zombie, for example, just with the lighting and the look of it. Like, we just don't get these really cool, you know, atmospheric focuses and spotlights on the zombie, the scenery, the sounds, you know, just their placement in how they're hiding from the zombies and the movements in the world and the world building. I don't know. Like, even in this one picture, now you might see that, because when I see this, I'm visualizing how a scene would play out visually with a zombie. So you might be looking at this and being like, yeah, it's in a zombie with low lighting. It's a big whoop. But in my head, I'm visualizing how cool it would be in, you know, Maggie and Negan to travel in these areas that are closed off with no windows, so they have to work with limited light. They have to be kind of quiet. They don't know what's around. There could even be enemies around. They could be focusing on sounds, so we don't hear music and all this other shit, but we actually hear the sounds of the world. They're dealing with zombies and other problems, so the actual sounds of the scenes and everything going on is similar to an orchestra where it gets real high and then quiet again. But I don't know, like we're just missing that, just something that has like this passion that I personally would like to see a little more of. Where are we at now? I did realize when I pulled up the image, though, it's definitely harder to explain a visual when you're processing, you know, like how it would look if that would come into life in a cool way. The poll can't math. Yeah, it can't. And thank you again, Anon, for the $5. I don't know if I said thank you. Get a crumb of old Good Walking Dead. Messed up the poll. Wait, what? Hang on. November Victor said something about making ammo. I could have sworn I saw... Who was doing something about making ammo? I don't know if it was a different... Someone was making ammo. And I remember... I don't know if it was... Shit, what was it? Yeah, because it had this whole setup. I don't know if it was a movie I watched recently or something, but yeah, making ammo should be something. There'd definitely be more preppers and more survivors. Making ammo would be a thing that they were doing. So this whole idea of no guns, this is a political thing. We've already known this. I talked about this before. The higher-ups, we're not going to get into the details, but essentially moving forward, movies, video games, good fucking luck. But movies, video games, TV shows, the people paying out the money men are basically, they want Hollywood to move away from showcasing guns as much as possible. And that's why you saw Last of Us utilize little to no gunplay. This is something they talked about. This isn't weird conspiracy theory. They're open. People that are in the industry are coming out slowly but surely, and they're talking about this is the new push. I don't want to use the word agenda, because when you say agenda, people think of you know, other arguments and shit like that. But this is a real push that they're doing within Hollywood. I don't know if they're going to continue to do it, because you know, whether you agree with guns or not, it just sounds like it's such a stupid concept to take guns out of TV because you're against guns in real life. That's just insane. Does that mean if they made guns illegal in the United States, you'd be okay with them putting it back in movies and TV? Or would you have to still keep it at them? It's so dumb. I can't help but think how dumb it is. Sorry. At Marshall, I don't know why my sinuses are jacked up. I just went outside for a little bit. I had to go do something. And Marshall that turned. Rare to see a walker strapped like that. I like it. Do you follow the official Walking Dead page? Have you seen some of the pure stupidity of the people who watch the show, who comment? Yes, when Fear was going on, I just out of sheer what is going on with the fan base, I looked at some comments and holy fuck, man, I'm sorry, but wow, some of those comments are dumb. They're like, this is even better than the original Walking Dead. Oh my God. And I don't know. You're fucking brain dead. Like, goddamn. And I think I'm angry and bitter about it because you're the fucking reason we get this shit. When you settle for trash, they're just going to keep giving you trash. And I know people, like, we have this argument with superhero movies. Like, why do they pump out superhero movies when it doesn't make anywhere near what they want? There's a number of factors going on. One is pure stupidity or just gambling against the risks when you need 2 to 3 years, let's say 3 to 4 years to do the special effects. You need it, but they rush it, make it look like shit, and they get it done in 1 to 2 years. Why? Well, that's because they can go back to the shareholders and yada, 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 and they can say, look, we turned that around in half the time. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. And you might be thinking, well, you know, that's stupid because if they would have waited the 3 to 4, they would have made more money and then they can, but in that timeline, you know, of them doing that, they could do, you know, 4 or 5 different things, flood the calls, you know, the meetings with projections of those monies and how that's doing, yada, yada, yada. I mean, it's all a stupidity race in the end, and it's very little passion and whatever from the artists. That's why I fully believe right now, in the future, it's going to be different because you're going to see the internet locked down. You're going to see a whole bunch of different things that it's gonna stunt growth on an independent level. But I think now is like the moment to build up a new, and I don't mean one. I don't mean me. I don't mean that guy. I mean several, you know, up and coming indie studios that don't need anything to do with Hollywood. We don't need theaters anymore. We don't need them. We just need viewers to get behind good projects, indie projects. And that's one thing that I want to do is, you know, find, you know, people building and support indie and where it's at. Like I bring Terrifier up as long as he's going to, you know, stay in the indie world and not give in to Hollywood or give in to some stupid shit, not push agenda shit, but do it story first, the genre first, and yada, yada, yada. You know, find the indies and back them, whether they're music, whether they're movies, video games. I don't know. But I think the indie is the future and it has to do it now. We can pull all the money we pump into collectively, we pump into, you know, the mainstream. Imagine if we actually collectively pulled that out, even half of it, and put it into new up and coming shit. Like if they want to still fuck around and do dumb shit with, I don't know, fucking Spider-Man or Batman. Like, if you had the right creativity and the right time and effort, you could create something new that's kick-ass, you know? Anyhow. And they'll fall in line because once they see the money flow go out of them and into something else, and that's why Star Wars and shit is too big to fail. Even a lot of those that are huge are too big to fail because you'll get people that'll get behind it that just have shit taste in entertainment, you know. And it's only for the ones that hold back and wait for the better stuff. It's only because of them that we actually get it. Anyhow, Henry Lemoyne says, I really like the exterior city shots. The size and scale of everything is definitely better than the later seasons of the main show. Ronnie, have the episode felt short to you? Both times when they've ended, I was like, wait, what? That's it? I looked up the time when 2 finished and said 40 minutes. Yeah, here's the thing. The second episode is only 3 minutes shorter than the norm. A normal episode is 42 to 44 minutes, and that's because the rest is commercials. That's on average. So, yeah, it was, you know, a few minutes short. I didn't feel anything, you know. That might be like you're enjoying it enough to where it you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I can see what you mean, though, about it feeling short, but Ronnie, so good you're getting an HVAC. It can be pretty complex and challenging. I've been in HVAC many years and still enjoy it. That's what's up, Benjamin. Yeah, I don't know all the details, but I do know you need hands-on, what is it, like hands-on, you know, training, learning or whatever for 2 years. But where I'm working, it's hands-on, getting paid, and it's not like I'm going to go to a school. I know there's some of it you might have to. Again, I forget the stuff I looked up, but the portion where, you know, I can get trained on the job as I'm working there, I got to look into, you know, what other schooling and licensing and all that's involved. But at least for that portion, I mean, that's good for right now that I'm going to get in. And even some of the stuff that I can learn that maybe isn't, maybe like a pre-course, like they'll show me some things before I take an original or whatever it is. Because I'm not sure if you need it. I forget now because I was reading up on it. I know it's 2 years in North Carolina, and then it's something you got to go. Wow, fuck! You got to go get your certified after 2 years. You know what I mean? Go get your certification. I'm not sure, but once I do, though, I mean, there's real good money out here. The only problem though is out here is ridiculous to pay rent, so that's where I'm stuck at. I told my daughter I want to move within a year or two, definitely, just because the rent is so high here. I just can't justify, you know, the majority of your money going to pay, and I mean the majority of your money going to pay just rent. Like, I just can't justify that. Rent is just high. And I know Juliet needs her own room. We're not going to just get like a small little, you know, studio or one bedroom and yada, yada, yada. I mean, that might have worked when she was younger, and then I could just, you know, have the living room. She can have her own bedroom. And, you know, when she was younger, she didn't even matter because, you know, smaller kids take up less space and whatnot. But when she's she's a teenager now, she wants to have her friends come over. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck. So you need to get a legit spot. So I'm thinking, if I can make the job work and then get a place on the outskirts, maybe I'll stay here for 3 or 4 years, get that going, get the money up, and then find a place that's that I can move to work-wise. Because at least for right now, I don't know about your area, but the area I'm at now is starving for HVAC, which is, I just thought it's so weird. Because even years ago when I worked in sheet metal, people said all the time, I'm getting into HVAC, from the sheet metal to HVAC. And I just figured, hearing every fucking buddy talk about it, I just figured it was just flooded, you know? And I talked to numerous people that run complexes here, and they're always saying, like, we need HVAC people like crazy. Because every time they bring one in, another company will poach them. They'll be like, oh shit, you're doing good in HVAC, blah, blah, blah. And they'll poach them from there. And then it's the highest bidder gets the job, you know what I'm saying? Which is great for the worker, because then you can be like, pay me $40 an hour, you know? Did you see the sneak peek with Daryl? Visuals look good, but story's still iffy. I saw the tiny, like 3-second thing, and it did not impress. Is there a bigger one? I'll watch it now and give my thoughts on it. We are going to be ending soon, though. We're almost at an hour. So just to give you a 10, 20-minute heads up, if there's something you really want to say on stream, let me know. Have I watched Barry on HBO? Yeah, season 1 I've seen. Angel didn't like The Last of Us. Is that fan too loud? I'm stuffed up, bro. Yeah, Angel said that HBO Last of Us was weak AF. Yeah, there was I don't know. I don't understand the praise for it. I get the characters and the story, but if you have the game, like I have the game, I don't have any need to revisit the show for anything, even a little bit, other than my review, which I don't even know if I want to do the whole... Right now, I'm going to review the first A Flaw vs. All special review, the first episode, and if that doesn't do bangers, I mean, I'm late on it anyway, so maybe it's my fault, but if it doesn't do bangers, I'm just out, you know?
Hey Ronnie, just want to show my support. I made my account solely to sub to you 8 years ago when I was only 14. Love your takes on TWD and all you do.
That's what's up. Thank you very much for that. I just thought about something. Are you guys even seeing? Let me check this out. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support. I'm glad you're still around. And let me double check, because I forgot to see where the tips are showcased on the screen. So give me 1 second. Someone else was saying, I wish Kirkman would bring back an Negan series. Sadly, seems he's washed his hands of it. Kirkman will be back. It's very rare to get something and to blow up and then continue making things that blow up. Like, you can do a lot of great stuff. Absolutely. But it's very rare to constantly have these things that are, you know, exploding, topping charts and yada, yada, yada. Give it a few years. I mean, if he doesn't have stuff in the works that is just blowing up, he'll return to The Walking Dead. Absolutely. Listen, you know, no matter how rich you get, and this isn't just for him, this is for the majority of people, more money is always better. So I would imagine he would see everything he's doing and building, and he'd be like, man, you know what? If we did a return to The Walking Dead, man, that would, you know, triple my profit. And who knows where that could go? That would it'll return. So it might take 10 years, 5 years. I think 5 years, but from this point, 5 more years, give or take, he'll be back. Okay, so can I replay that? Okay, it is on screen, but I do need to move it over some. Let me move this for now.
I just want to show my support. I made my account solely to sub to you 8 years ago when I was only 14. Love your takes on TWD and all you do.
Whoops. I just replayed that so that way I can see where this is at. I'll let you guys look at chat. But thank you very much. Again, Nato1212. I appreciate any and all support I could get. Ronnie, rent is high as Dazed and Confused. I haven't seen that movie in a long time, so if that's a reference, other than being high. But yeah, rent is fucking insanely high. I wish Sorcerer Last was amazing. Just the execution shows part. Well, yeah, the scenery in The Last of Us was amazing. I'll agree with that as well. But the action, the zombies, the character connection, the pacing of the character connection, the focus on the story and the characters, like taking away focus from the main two characters and focusing on different couples, is a waste of time. You know, I am waiting for the day you can make a comic with AI drawing. It's going to open so many possibilities. I'm on the fence with that a little bit. See, me as somebody who's a writer and I don't draw art, I would probably make a killing out of that. You take your ideas and you can go to an AI thing and, create. You could probably start doing it now. It'd be very primitive for what you need, but you could probably, because if you can get AI to make your art, here's part of the problem though. You got to get AI to make the art, but you're going to have to get AI to do it consistently. And that's, I think, where your biggest problem is. Because if you could get AI to consistently, here's the character, here's what he looks like from all angles, I need this character, that character, you might be on to something. But right now, I'm not aware of AI being able to replicate, characters that you just created. Not like, here's Tom Cruise, have him do this. But here's a brand new character, because you have to give AI that information. AI doesn't create that information unless you're giving them a blank slate to create. But if that's the case, you can't do it consistently. That doesn't make sense. So if when that time comes, that would be killer. But I don't know. There's some finer elements there where I'm on the fence with it. Yeah, even in getting it together. You connecting with AI, maybe if you were to, like, AI, I want a character here, punching a character here, I want him going this direction with it, and I want teeth flying out, spit flying out. You know, this is the character and this is the bad guy or whatever. That could work. I mean, that inputting that information might be time consuming, but it's probably faster than drawing. I don't know though. We'll see. I haven't looked into it for comic book stuff, but it could you know, do wonders. I just don't know art wise, because I don't count AI as art. No one gets the credit for that. You don't get credit for that. You get credit for the creating of the idea, but you didn't do the art, you know? Shit, people not wanting to work in a lot of industries. Yeah, I'm shocked that we have leaders that are shocked about positions that need to be filled. There's a number of factors that is so fucking obvious. It blows my mind. For what, 2 decades, we told kids, don't be a loser and do hand labor jobs. You know, go to school and do some uppity shit. For decades, we told kids this. We took shop out of school, and you know, don't be a mechanic, don't be a plumber, don't do HVAC. You know, those are failure jobs. When I see how much they make now, bro, I know plenty of people that went through college and they should be making a shit ton of money, but there's no openings for what they're doing. And the people that they look down on that are doing a lot of these other, you know, labor jobs, they're making a fucking, you know, 50,000, 100,000, 175,000 a year with, you know, some of them been at it for a decade or 15 years or so, but there's some jobs where it's like, holy fuck, you know? Anyhow, but then on top of that, you have a lot of, blows my fucking mind, but a lot of people don't consider the internet aspect. Even as early as 2010 to 2023 shifted in a major way. Think about how many people now make money off of the internet that is taking those workers out of the workforce. There's a ton of people that would have just been working at restaurants, you know, servers, and you know, working at fast food joints or working in retail. There's a fuckload that would have had these part-time jobs and yada 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 that are now making money online. Those, even though it is, well, let's not get into it, but still, that's a huge punch to how the economy functions. And the economy itself, you know, as a beast itself, it will warp to fit that setup and that structure, like a rubber band kind of. So it depends on which way it snaps. And that meaning, if social media platforms were to shut down, that rubber band would likely snap back into position, refilling some of those jobs. But then you'll hit insane unemployment, because then a lot of those jobs, they either closed down and or learned how to function with as minimal workers as they were pre. And then obviously shareholders are going to not want to pay a ton of workers to work there to begin with. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. If you're really good at HVAC, you could pick and choose your employer, and we'll have a great leverage on what you pick. I know some people that are that's who pushed me in the business now. They're working and they're fucking flourishing in the industry now. They're the ones that talked me into it and pushed me into it. And I was like, I mean, if that's the case, I'm in, you know, because like I said before, if I love posting the videos, I love the Flaw vs. All reviews at this point in time. Though that's like some of the shit that I love the most creating on YouTube. If I can find the right editor and pay an editor to put those together, I can make it work to where I can do the YouTube content. Besides jumping on here and chatting with you guys an hour, a new game comes out and I you know, take some time off and stream a couple days. I don't need to be streaming every day, uploading videos every day. I don't need to do that to keep in touch. So my time is going to be real tight, but my goal is to make it work to where I'm still putting out the Flaw vs. All stuff and yada, yada, yada. So that's the end goal. Hopefully I'll be set up by the end of the year with doing all that. Good vibes. Thanks for doing these streams. Always love hearing your opinions, whether we agree or not. Usually do, but even when we don't, you got a good personality. I could listen for hours. So thank you very much. Good vibes only. Where are we at? 110? Yeah, we're last few comments here. Rent is high here because of the school district and very low crime. Now that school has gone to shit, it's mostly about safety. Yeah, my area got flooded with production, pretty much. There's production in different deals. Like I think Apple did a deal, and Microsoft did a deal. They're opening up production plants, opening up offices, and this, that, and the third. And not only that, but it's a widespread area. So it's just constantly growing with new apartment communities. It's insane. It is actually insane how much and how quick, and they're just popping up everywhere, it's just insane. Like I said, before I lived in an area where, you were in a small town, and it was like a mini city, itty bitty city, and you had one Walmart, one Target, you had one this, one that. There's your mom and pop shops, your local legacy pizza places, restaurants, but then you had like the mainstream strip where it's like McDonald's and Red Lobster and Cracker Barrel and all that other shit, but you only had one of them, right? Raleigh's different. I mean, you can be in a 1 hour radius, even a half-hour radius. You got like 17 Targets, 20 Walmarts. You got fucking 700 gas stations, 87,000 banks. I mean, it's fucking unreal, Yeah, it's just unreal. And again, it's unreal because I moved out here to work for a year and a half in 2002, I think. So a lot of this area that I saw when I worked here years ago was just nothing, it was just fucking grass. It's crazy seeing it now. And now it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know where these people are going to go. Have you read any of the other Kirkman comics? Old or new? Firepower is great, and new one. I was gonna get into Firepower, but I just wanted to stop and wait for his comics to kind of fill out some, because I did get into Outcast. I liked it. I got into Oblivion, and I loved the beginning of Oblivion, but it just sort of trails. Kirkman, he writes these hooks that I really, really like. And then the middle just kind of just goes, and I just lose interest a bit. So I'm just kind of waiting. I'll get back into it, but I haven't bought comics in like a year. So I hope they make the Crow app more intimidating. Right now, he seems cartoony like a Disney villain. Yeah, I hear that. I like how we saw Bad Negan again, but with protecting our people, that was pretty good flip on things. See how it operates. Yeah, I hear that. I had a class when I did it. If kids are encouraging them to learn a trade. Yeah, learning a trade is definitely crucial. Even if it was just backup. Like telling kids here to go to school for this and this and that. Like backup should be an option. Some of the shit we teach, like there's no fucking way we don't know that college is rigged. How many people do you, like, I never went to college. I was too poor. There was no fucking way. When I grew up, I don't know. I stay out of the debate, but when I grew up, it was this. You either have money to go to college or you don't. You know what I'm saying? You're not borrowing a fuck ton of money if you don't know if you're even going to get a job when you get out. So you didn't borrow money. And, what's funny is I knew a number of kids that were like, fuck them, I'm borrowing money. If I fail, fuck them. What are they going to do? Like that was the attitude. So when I see people with shit, I don't know. It doesn't matter. But the point was, there should be a backup, because a lot of these, just some of the shit that a lot of my friends would go to school for, and some of the classes they took, and they were just an absolute waste of time to get through. There should be backup options for you to do. I don't know. I'm sure there is, but some of these that are fucking worthless courses should not even be fucking in there. There's no way it's not a scam. Money video about what happened at blue collar jobs. Video about 3 years old, spot on for decades. You were told you are shit if you don't go to college. You are shit. Well, I agree with that, Wendy. Who's the guy? Mike Rowe? I don't know who Mike Rowe is, but that's been talked about for years now, and that is the truth. Even when I was growing up, I mean, they quite literally told us to our face, if you're doing, because my whole thing was, why do I need college? I'm going to end up in a factory anyhow, because there wasn't much in our town. That was it. You're doing, you're working in a factory, or it doesn't matter. But the point is, we were told straight up, I mean, you're not going to be shit in those jobs. But the reason why I was confused when I was younger is because I had an uncle that dropped out in like 8th grade, started his own construction business, and was doing fantastic. I had a few friends that had like, fucking amazing homes. They're doing plumbing. They're doing construction. They're doing roofing. A number of different gigs. These gigs where people in school, like the educators would talk about these people like they're lower rungs of society, but these people were fucking crushing it. Still today, they're fucking crushing it. And it should be based on like, what are you passionate about doing for the rest of your life, but making a good living so you're comfortable. And you really shouldn't shit talk some of these, because it's just stupid. Imagine how many people shit talked, maintenance men, but you can go, get $25 an hour right now being a maintenance man. What the fuck, Anyway, The Walking Dead got 18 last week. We can make it here tonight. Wait, The Walking Dead, we got to 18 last week. Think we can make it there tonight. I don't know what you mean. I encourage kids to learn 2 trades, something to fall back on. Stick with HVAC, Ryan. There's a lot of money to be made. I've been doing plumbing for 6 years now, and I've done HVAC here and there, but I'm seriously considering making the switch, kind of like HVAC better. Yeah, as for right now, that's my goal for sure. Like I said, the YouTube, I want to be a hobby. I want to do the YouTube when I need to relax and, do something hands-on with some editing that I love. I think everything will be better off for it, I think. Because relying on YouTube is just shit, man. Because if ad revenue's not supporting what you're doing on YouTube, then you got to ask the people to support it. And I'll be honest, man, it's just slimy. It makes you feel slimy. I don't fucking like it. Plus, like, I want money. I want to buy nice things. I want to fix my car when I want to, when I feel like it, and not like, oh man, got to push it here, got to do this. Oh, I hope the tires don't blow because I'll be fucked, So I just want to get back on my grind. My daughter's older now, so it's not like when she was a baby. It was a lot harder. Daycare especially, fucking outrageously expensive. So I want to be able to be like, listen, I was grinding. I got money to do this. I did this and this and this, instead of just, oh man, fucking, ad revenue was shit. So we're asked out 6 months in a row. When's it going to pick up? Oh, it's picking up this month. Well, this month is great. Oh, next month is down. Fuck all that. I'm done. Croat accent gets on my nerves. I'm a little hit or miss just because, some of the softness. I want a little bit of edge there. Richard Krompa, did I say that right? What up, Richard? What's crime like? In my area, it's certain sections you can avoid, and crime is real fucking good, to be honest. You got your bad sections, and you got your random acts of violence. I mean, shit happens. But as far as like an area I previously lived in, crime is like way down compared to that. I mean, there's more crime because there's more people, but you would leave your house knowing, oh, fuck, if I stop at this gas station, there's a 80% chance I'm getting in a fist fight. I'm probably going to have to just, deal with some sort of gang shit popping off. I'm not in the fucking mood. I just want to get my shit and get out. And it's just a whole bunch of stupid shit. So I've been in those environments, and they're just annoying at the end of the fucking day because there's always something going on. And if you're focused on, just hustling and making it, all that other distraction shit is just dragging you down to the dirt. So, but I think as far as crime wise, it's manageable for sure. Some areas are fucking no crime. All right, what do we got? going into crippling debt when you're that young? No thanks. Yeah, right? I mean, that's what... Because I was sitting there thinking, like, all right, you know, if I'm working this factory job, and back then you're making, what, $5 an hour? And I was like, all right, if you're making like, you know, 10 grand a year, 15 grand a year, you want me to take out a $50,000, $100,000 loan. But the job I'm going for is probably only going to be, you know, 40 grand the first year, up to 150 grand by like the third year I'm working there, fourth year I'm working there. So then you got to factor how long school is, what's the interest, and all this other shit. And you're thinking like, all right, what the fuck? I mean, given that's your life. Like I have a friend that put himself in insane debt. I think his debt was like 150 grand, or it was insane. It was fucked up. It doesn't matter, but it was a fucked up loan. School loan, and I think it took her like 12 years or so, but then she's fucking crushing it. So it depends. But if stuff didn't happen, there was a little bit of luck involved. If it didn't happen, should have been fucked, you know. So, but that's your whole life. So it either works or it doesn't. But you should know going in. Right, that's what you're saying. My brother has a PhD in sociology. He mows lawns now. Yeah, I know a lot of people that have a number of different things like that, and it's not what they expected, you know? If you could kill a walker so easily with a nail, why use weapons? The characters could probably kill them just by punching them in the face. That's one of the biggest reasons why I'm against shit like that. Props to Jeffrey Dean Morgan for carrying the entire franchise on his back. Any post-apocalyptic movies or shows that have good visuals and the characters actually being in the environments a good bit. Well, yeah, I mean, we're about to shut down. It would probably take me a minute, but go to the road and I don't know. I'd have to really think about the ones with vision. Just watch The Road. That's one of them. I'll have to think of others that have good environments in them. I know 28 Days Later, but it's give or take. They set it up with environments, then they pull it back and they do a lot of indoors, a lot of sets, and yada yada yada, and then they give you some environments again. It's, you know, but that one you can check out. That has a great environment intro. Ronnie, is it true what you're saying, my brother? Okay, I already did that. My youngest son just graduated early at 16. I got him the hell out of that mess. But once kids finish 10th grade, they should be offered to learn a trade in the next 2 years. I think learning a trade would be fantastic, you know? Especially, think about it. You learn a trade from 10 to 12. You get out, go to college. You get a part-time job. You know, people can fluctuate you. If you learn a trade, you learn some sort of skill, they can fluctuate you in that work schedule. You can be a pickup, you know, where they have their normal workforce, and then they got guys that call out, they get guys that are sick, they get this, they get that, they get overbooked, and then they call the pickup. Yo, can you come in for 4 hours today? Hey, can you do 6 hours Saturday? Boom, the kid who learned a trade in, 10th to 12th, they're now in college, but now they can do that pickup work part-time. Bam. And it's good money, too. Some of that structure, I'm sure there's people that do it. Not through the school, not how it's set up, but, I mean, some of that shit, that should be how it's set up. We should be teaching kids about credit cards, the different types, and all this. And I don't mean to, act like people should automatically know it. I know tons of fucking people that are adults that don't get interest rates and how that breaks down and yada, yada, yada. But they should be teaching them about, even what the government does and how it functions and how that affects interest rates and with the banks and the banking system. And, part of why I think they don't want to teach, at least on the government and banking side, is our banking system in America is fucked. I mean, it's fucked. And I think that's probably why they don't want the masses to realize it, because that would probably help, at least in their minds, to destabilize the power of the dollar even more than, what it does naturally. Anyway, I grew up with a girl who went to a private college to be a CPA. The bad news, she ended up working at Walmart. Some trauma messed things up. That sucks. They literally told me in high school that college was the only option. I don't even know. Back then I wanted to work with my hands, but I knew going to college wasn't the only way to make it. Yeah, I feel you. Some people, they're into the gigs where they work with their hands. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's something very, relaxing. It's like meditation, fixing things with your hands and starting over and getting a flow. And anyway, I was talking about yada yada, the yada counter. Oh, I see what you're saying. The filler courses are pointless. Yeah, the filler courses, I think they're general studies. Is that what they are? No. There's a name for it. Is it the general studies? I don't know. I didn't go to college because I don't fucking give a fuck. And Ronnie remembers being top chat to live chat, so YouTube don't censor comments. Oh yeah, live chat. Thank you. Now that we're over, I wish I remembered that earlier. What do you think Herschel Jr. will do in this show? I hope he does something. Well, I know he's gonna fight because they already set it up in this episode where Maggie said, "Hey, you have to fight. You can't skip your thing." So there's gonna be something with him fighting. That's all I know right now. Now's a great time to get back to Kirkman Comics. Oblivion song ended, so you can read it all now. It did, really. And Firepower has been on 6-month hiatus, but coming back for issue 25. See, Firepower is a fucking great example of why I stopped reading comics, in part because these fucking hiatuses. Now, listen, we're not talking like you're some asshole, you're making a comic just because you have that much passion to, put a story out. You don't make any money from it. You actually lose money making the comic. And it's a miracle you even get it done, speaking from experience. Well, I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people like in Kirkman's shoes. He's rich as fuck. There's no excuse to take hiatuses. And maybe the artist took a vacation. Maybe that's it. But there's fucking a 6-month hiatus. There's no fucking excuse. If you're going to come out with these stories, come out with them and pump them out. I mean, you can even switch up the release schedule so it's like one every other month for a little bit if you need to take some sort of hiatuses. But I was getting that constant, and this is before COVID, constantly books just disappear. And then it's like, where's this book? It hasn't been out for a few months. Oh, they took a hiatus. Well, where did they announce it? Oh, they mentioned it on Twitter on some asshole's what the fuck, the comic industry is just so shit, I don't know. It's just, now that and they're only on issue 25. Like, I get it, that's, only 25. It's just so fucking slow, But who am I to talk? No, fuck that. If I was rich, you don't need no fucking hiatuses. If your artist got to do something, get a new artist in the meantime. I will say the one thing that made me disinterested in Oblivion song was the art. I think the art was great. However, the creatures visually, they were drawn like stuffed animals. I just couldn't take it. I wanted like these wicked, cool, because it's like very fantastical monsters, And they drew them, the artist drew them like stuffed animals. It's fucking wild. I don't know why they did that. Everything's like round and puffy, and then there's like some claws. You don't know what's his head, what's his ass. I mean, you don't know what if the good guy's about to get eaten or shit on. You don't know what's going on. And look it up, the art for Oblivion song. Some of this shit is awesome, but it's drawn like stuffed animals. I don't get it. That threw me out. Because the monster's like a real big pull. I love the idea of Oblivion song, what the title means and all that. The concept is really fucking cool. But then it lingered, and then I didn't have interest in the monsters when they got into fighting them, and I was like, yeah, whatever. All right. Prerequisite could be. Why is he not asking about his dad, though? Who? Herschel? Well, I think he knows pretty much the idea. Is making a comic hard? Yeah. I mean, if you're doing everything, there's definitely, listen, especially if you're starting from scratch and you don't know certain elements to deal with software or formatting, there's a whole field of different shit that you gotta nail down. And again, if you're the writer, you got to understand pacing, page turn reveals, good character development. You're not going to sit down and just write something. People do it, but that's like 3% of people out there can actually just sit down and write something that's fantastic. And then you got to have the artist it's time consuming. You know, you're just burning out your arm to draw it. Then once you get it all done, you got to do the touch-ups, lettering. You got to pick your lettering, have it created, done for you. Add your lettering down. You're bouncing the art between different softwares. Like I said, and then you format it together and get it all shipped off. But then you got to sell it. Where are you selling it at? You got a website or Etsy, eBay. You're going to, you know, every sale, every this, every that, somebody's got a piece of the money. You're paying for it to get printed, paying for it to get shipped. You put all the pieces together. You even buy freebie bags and boards. There's a whole bunch of just headache shit to it. I fucking love it though. But you really need a big viewer base, and then it would make a lot. It would just help out a lot. Because when you got a small viewer base, a lot of this shit you're dealing with, you get burned because you're only printing a small amount here, small amount there. If you have like a real good viewer base and you could just stack up like a room with some of your books and just, you know, you big pre-orders and sell them out, and you can hire 2-3 people to go through and do packaging and pre-package, so that way when you get a sale of bundle 1 or 2, you just grab this and it's all done, ship it out. And even little shit, like I don't print anything. I only print stuff for the comic. So like postage. So if you're not, you know, printing constantly, or if your ink runs out, you didn't get backup, like there's everything involved all together that there's constantly something to do. So I would say overall, it's there's definitely work you're putting in, and some of it is not hard. Like I've done roofing and carried shingles, you know, when I was fucking tiny, up a ladder, you know, 2-3 packs at a time, where my legs were just going to snap in half. I know what hard physical work is, so it's not hard in that respect. It's more hard in a getting bogged down, frustrated, annoyed, and very time consuming is probably the thing that crushes you with making a comic, because it'll eat away at the hours in your day, and you'll be like, I gotta get this done. I have a deadline for this and this and this. And you'll sit down and you'll be making progress and doing something that you really much, you're proud of it. But then you look up and you're like, oh my God, you know, I got like 10 more hours of work to do. I gotta go to bed because I gotta be at work in 4 hours. But then when I get off of work, I got to do this. And then tomorrow I got to do, I'm not even going to be able to get back to this for 4 days. I know it sounds like stupid shit, but I just want you to have realistic expectations. I'm assuming because you're asking, you're going to get into it, I would imagine. I don't understand why Negan said freaking. Didn't he use the F word in episode 1? I don't understand that either. And I think AMC can go fuck themselves at this point. Just uncensor it, you pussies. Like, come on. Even if it's a fine, come on, man. Fuck out of here. Plus, just make it uncensored for AMC Plus. Boom. Extra incentive. And your cheap asses are only going to add a curse or two. You should add extra blood and guts. Think about it. You know, extra fucking gore. Get a little hose and just spray all that blood down. Make it stylized. Quentin Tarantino visited the set that day and went fucking nuts. Blood is going everywhere. Like a fire hydrant hose or something. It's knocking enemies through windows. No, I'm kidding, but I mean, then give it to the fan base. That shit would be awesome. Never work retail, you'll hate yourself. I already worked retail for a few years. What was one that was fucking annoying? Because I did work at TJ Maxx. I don't think TJ Maxx was very annoying. People that you worked for, some of the managers were just bitches, you know? I got along with some people, but, you know, customers do suck, especially more nowadays. Not all of them, but, man, you get some just assholes. Like, I will agree. There's a level of retail that sucks. I'll agree, because I've been a bartender, I've been a server or a waiter. I've been a line cook. I've done set fry, and that's the people who set up the cook. I've worked in a steakhouse. I worked for Pepsi before. I've worked for a marketing company where you would, you know, drum up ideas to promote like when Amazon was coming out, we were giving away these things at events to promote Amazon. And this is like early, when was this? Early 2000s or something. Daryl teaser. Yes, we're going to look at that now and then shut this down. I stayed a little bit longer hanging out with you guys, but I do have to go. I did say share the sneak peek. Now, I looked at the teaser, and the teaser is nothing. It's just Daryl saying,
"My name's Daryl Dixon."
Can you guys hear that? It's just him saying, "My name's Daryl Dixon, and I ran into trouble."
I come from a place called the Commonwealth. I went out looking for something, and all I found was trouble.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the sneak peek, it got words all over the fucking screen. It's got a cool look at like a pier. Not a pier, but like a harbor. Let me see what this one is, though. Official sneak peek coming this fall. Wait, I thought this... Hold on.
My name's Daryl Dixon. I come from a place called the Commonwealth. It's in America.
That looks cool. Let me pull this up. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to be able to.
All I found was trouble.
Always on a walkie-talkie. Please, God, no.
If I don't make it back, I want him to know I tried. Hell, I'm still trying.
Cool looking zombies, though. This one scene, yeah, that's cool. He's got a pre-made weapon ready on the ground. Commonwealth did not live in Alexandria. Yeah, but apparently they moved officially to the Commonwealth and left Alexandria behind, I assume. That's what they did in the comic, anyhow. I forget if they did that in the show. Yeah, they do this apocalyptic style where they're walking around. That's actually clever, though. They have him traveling so they can show off the scenery and locations for promotions. And then when you watch it in the show, it's like a montage of him traveling. And then that's it. Everything else is on sound stages, indoors, and yada, yada, yada. Outdoor area, though, looks great. I mean, they should crush it with... Well, that's in a different language. I don't know what that says. That doesn't do anything for me. They should crush it for the location-wise. I guess that was supposed to be a store he goes into. Now, I'll show you real quick. So, here's Daryl Dixon. He's on a boat. Now, just let me get my face moved. Now, here's the thing. Here's Daryl Dixon on a boat. That looks great. Everything looks like... You know, I know it's post-apocalyptic, and for years, some of this stuff... Well, I guess this isn't the boat he travels on, so yes, it's been abandoned. I like to look at it. Like some of the zombie bodies laying around, definitely cool. I don't know why there's a ready-made weapon, but, you know, you figure everyone's got weapons to survive. There's shit laying around. Sure, why not? So he gets this new little pokey weapon. He's on a walkie-talkie. I don't know what that's about. He's talking like he's new. It doesn't make sense. Who's he talking to? Can that reach the mainland? I mean... Can that reach the States? Because why would anyone in France ever even travel to tell his story? Like, none of that makes sense. So we'll have to see when it actually airs. Maybe he's trying to get in touch with a ship that's on the water that he knows is out there. That makes a little more sense. But yeah, look, cool bodies that are all contorted on the ground. I dig it. Here's a little poor CGI, though. This this looks something about this. It might be the shading. I noticed that with cheaper CGI, it's the shadows and shading that kills it, you know? This looks like shit. I mean, I doubt it's real. If it is, it might be the compression on YouTube, but that looks bad. Maybe not terrible, but it looks off. Anyhow, so he does all this traveling. So it's like, okay, we get cool scenery, but he's only walking past it in a montage. That doesn't add a lot of value. It's almost pointless to do it. If it's for the story, fine. That fits. I love this location here. This looks great. The compression looks like shit on YouTube, but if you can imagine it in high def, that looks great. Then he gets to, what does this say? Something or other. Then he gets to, should we look that up? Let's look it up. Is that a P? P-O-U-V? P-O-U-V-O-I-R? O-I-R? Power. That means power? Really?
Power. Pouvoir.
Pouvoir.
Pouvoir. Pouvoir.
Pouvoir.
Pouvoir.
Pouvoir. Alright, so we got pouvoir. Pouvoir. Des. Viva. Pouvoir. Viva. Des viva. Viva. Vivantes. Vivantes. Des Vivantes. Well, Vivantes doesn't show up, so... I mean, Des doesn't show up, so Vivantes... Let me do one word. Pouvoir. Des. Oh, man, that doesn't... D-E-S. V-I-A-N. V-I-V. Viva. What the fuck? Des V. Maybe that's not a T. Vaness. V-I-V-A-N-E-S. A-N-E-S. Oh, shit. Did you mean this Vaness? Come on, man. What's des mean in French? Des is a plural. Power of, I'll just do the whole thing. Pouvoir des. Pouvoir des. Chat's like, bro, knock it off. Pouvoir des. Is that V-I-V? V-I-V. Definitely. A-N-E-S. It's gotta be it. Vivants. Pouvoir vivants. Meaning. Power of the living? Is that what it says? Well, it was not showing up for me. But apparently it's Power of the Living. Wow, that was a waste of time. I thought it was something like fucking crazy cool. Viv Ants. Viv Ants. Oh, but there is a T there. Okay. Yeah, I was committed. I was into it. Power of the Living. Yeah, fuck. I should have just looked up Norman Reedus teaser. What am I thinking? That was stupid. Alright. Alright, chat. Let's shut her down. You all ready to hear about the thing that happened to the submarine near the Titanic? Oh, yeah. Who hasn't heard about that? I was going to do a video on that. You know what I mean? Because do a video only takes... But I've been thinking about shit like this for years now. Probably like 4 or 5 years. Stuff will pop up and I'm like, it's current events. You know, I'll record a 5-10 minute video. You know, I can do that. I don't have to edit anything. But then I get in my head and I'm like, no one cares what I think about the fucking submarine, you know? I mean, we're here now chatting, so people will ask, but no one gives a fuck, so I don't do it. But, you know, I might start doing that a little more just to see. You never know, because some topics might gain a little more interest. And then if I'm into the topic and I know you guys are into the topic, you know, maybe that's something we can get into. And fuck. All right. My 2 years of French is rusty as hell. Nice. I am Dirk Smooth wants to stream when AMC Plus comes out. I think the majority of the people have mentioned sticking with Sunday, though. We'll do a because when I get the job officially and I get the information of when I start and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. I am gonna do a stream, and just to kind of say, like, here's what's going on, here's the kind of release schedule you can expect, and I'll do, you know, updates every now and again to let you guys know what's going on, because I'm still going to be dropping videos because I get home and there might be something to talk about. So I'll do a video and post it up on Map, and then I want to let you guys know when to check, you know, for the Flavors because those are going to start rolling back out. All right, so that's it. Save it this week. I don't even know Louisiana slang French anymore. Phantom will search you out when they want the episode. Politics with Ronnie Hayes. Yeah, I don't know if I want to talk about just politics though, because you can't win. You just can't win these days. I think you know what's funny is I read this story about the CIA. I think it was in the 70s or something. It might have been earlier. Might even have been in the 50s. But the CIA was like heavily invested in brainwash propaganda. There's a couple other clever words, but they were seeing how societies can be, what's the word I'm looking for? Puppeted, let's say, but what was the fucking, influenced and then puppeted by doing certain things. Like, I don't know the technical term. It's been a long time since I read it. But one of the things that they do is, and you see it now, one of the things is repeat phrase conditioning. And when you see it now, it's kind of amazing. And there's no way it's a coincidence. I don't fucking believe it at all. But like, for example, we hear a lot of the mainstream media talk about Republicans, for example, and how they, like, let's pick on Carrie Lake, right? She's an election denier. They'll say that. And they'll say it every time they talk about Carrie Lake, no matter what. They will always put election denier in front of her name. And that's a way of repeat phrase conditioning to condition the viewer to always associate her with election denying. And it works like a fucking charm. That alone works incredibly well. When you learn some of these techniques, you could probably do it yourself. I think it's dirty, but I mean, I got to find part of that old book or whatever it was. But and some of these are real experiments and real exposed, and there's real not articles, but files and leaks, and yet some of this is like legit. You can look it up right now, read it all you want. I forget, it was the 50s or 70s, but just to give you an example, there was, I forget who, but it was like a Democrat that the news was talking about. It was like on MSN, and they said election denier Carrie Lake, and then they talked about the Democrat, and the Democrat was also a person that is an election denier, but they did not say election denier whoever it was. I think it was like a governor from some other state or something. And it's funny how, because you look at that and it's not a coincidence. You know, it's not fucking there. But I mean, you look at that and you're like, how can something so simple be so fucking effective? Like, how are humans so dumb that you can literally just watch the news and not pick up on certain things? Like, I guess maybe if you don't realize you know, almost every single Democrat has denied elections in the past for the last 20 years, all the way since even before Bush. Right or wrong, I don't give a fuck. Deny it if you feel like it's not. Who gives a fuck? But nowadays, it's almost like we should hunt down and annihilate Republicans for denying elections. Like, how dare you? Our elections are solid, and, you know, let's trust all the Democrats. They're all angels and they're all perfect. And yet, like, that is what our mainstream media just tells you to do. And when I hear that, right away, I don't care what party you're in love with. Right away, I get suspicious. So I'm like, let me look at my own research, and I'll see who's good and who's bad on my own. I like watching the raw interviews. Fuck the news. Just raw interviews of this candidate. That's how I realized Hillary Clinton was a ball of fucking feral. You know, she needs to be drummed out of all politics whatsoever. The whole Clinton family should just be drummed out at this point. Because you look at her raw interviews, and years ago, you know, 80s, 90s, she didn't have one nice thing to say about, you know, the black community. Not even close. You're probably like enemy number one. But come today, oh, she's your best friend. Well, she's not. She thinks you're stupid and she lies to you. And then to the gay community, you were also enemy number two, you know, 20 years ago. She hated your guts, wanted you to burn like a motherfucker. But now she's your best friend. Okay, sure. You know. Yeah, raw interviews is what I do. I think it's fantastic. Raw interviews, it could be kind of boring, but you can watch like just some of the meetings and this and that, and some of the hearings, some of the raw ones. I mean, some of them get real boring, so you want to look at clips, but I mean, it doesn't matter, because the likelihood of the direction of our country now, I mean, it's almost unstoppable, I would say. We'll hit a breaking point eventually, because there's always rich people pulling the strings. You know, I think at this point it doesn't matter, because if you look at just the strategies of the Democrat Party, pretty much buying the media, convincing society that if you're not a Democrat, you're evil right off the rip. One of the things I'm more afraid of is I don't care about your party. I don't even get along with Republicans on a lot of topics anyway. But one thing I am absolutely against is favoring one party. And if you align America with the majority of people believing one party is inherently evil, which just isn't true, you have a one-party system, even though you have two parties. And two parties isn't enough. You need more than two parties. And that should be something that we should correct, but they won't do it. Yeah, I think it's almost unavoidable, because if you look at the strategies, like open border, bring in more Democrat voters, eventually give them the right to vote, you know, add millions more voters, plus the media, you got them on lockdown, conditioning people to vote against their own interests. And then they hide behind things like, we're good, you know, we're for women, we're for the gay community, we're for the black community, when in fact, if you look at what they do and how they vote and how they operate, how they function, that's like me giving you, I don't know, a cheeseburger and then slowly cutting your stomach open and saying like, but I love you. I think it's almost a losing war at this point. So fuck it. You might as well do what you can while it's out there. I'm out of here. Whistleblowers are funny. Yeah. Pac said it best. The world is full of gangs. It damn sure is. Hey Ronnie, you ever consider doing a pre-recording game playthroughs? Wouldn't that be faster than doing live streams? You know what? I think if it's a newer game, I would probably do something like that, but I don't know of anything coming out where I'm like, yo, that's it. Now that's on my Ronnie Hayes channel. Now, like I said though, when I get rolling, I have an interest in doing content like that, because again, if I'm just, you know, if I'm playing a video game for a few hours and I chop that up into 3, you know, videos, I could do that relatively quickly, and then boom, that's on the Ronnie Hayes channel. And there's some other stuff like some collectibles I was thinking about reviewing. But what I want to focus on is I want to focus on what is the biggest impact. Because for years now, I've been focusing on what can I just do that I like? And a lot of this stuff just doesn't pull in interest, you know, whether it's support, whether it's patrons, whether it's views, whether it's this. I was focusing just on what I like. And I need to find a better balance where it's stuff I like, but it's also stuff that's gaining traction, that's building the community. Because without building the community, I just can't do this for much longer. I can't. We're just too small. And I don't want to latch on to something popular and just feed off that. Because again, we're not building the community. We're just riding the popularity train. So I'm gonna lock the job down and then work out the kinks, and hopefully in a couple months we'll be stronger than we've been in a bit, because then we'll actually have some backing behind us. Yeah, they do the same with assault weapons. Yeah, it's insane when you hear it, but it's when you never believe propaganda will get so bad. Yeah, propaganda is nuts. And you can't even talk about it either, because people just yell, and it's like, bro, we can have a discussion. So raw interviews to create your own idea of views is a good idea. Use the whistleblower to become more mainstream in the last few years. Raw interviews. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good tip, though. I do that at times for people that speak clearly, and you actually speed it up, and you can listen to twice as many of the raw footage, as long as you can hear them clearly. Should keep the old characters' faces around if they're bringing a previous community flashback to be a case. Who dis? So many dinosaurs on both sides of the office. Yeah, that's another thing, is we need age limits. We need people out of, like, if you're in, like, Nancy Pelosi is probably one of the most evil, vindictive, vicious little bitches that's probably ever been in politics. I just can't even fathom there's any rational human being that has a nice thing to say about Nancy Pelosi. But like, if you look at her keeping, let's say, holding back on legislation, and then having her husband vote. I mean, everyone in politics knows, they see, they know what she's doing. Part of them are in it as well. Part of them talk about it, but no one cares because everything going on. But she might hold back legislation or push legislation forwards that deals with credit card companies, and her husband coincidentally just invested in. So she's became, insanely wealthy, and I think she was asked about it once, and she was like, oh, well, it's a free market, Well, that's different when you're in a position of power and you can actually manipulate what the market does by holding legislation and not voting on it, or pushing legislation up. And that's just one of the examples. Fuck it, though. Fuck it. Yeah, assault weapons aren't real. I mean, that's I would say that classification, because, I mean, it just doesn't match one specific gun. You can use that for pretty much anything. I mean, especially with the way they don't even understand a difference between automatic and semi-automatic. It's like, bro, come on. I've looked into plenty of, well, let's just say thoughts and opinions on what to do about guns. And I would say a vast majority of them, whether it's interviews, whether it's the actual resolutions, or whether it's whatever the fuck, essays, whatever the fuck they got going on, fucking, long tweet longer or whatever, constantly is like, we need to get these automatic, fucking, we need to get these automatic switchblades off the streets. It's like, bro, it's not even a thing, bro. You're mixing two different words. I'm out of here, though. Let's roll. Hope your job sets you up, Julia. Good. Get some good content flow for solve videos. I'm hoping so, too. I'll let you guys know. I'll keep you in touch. Biden's been in half a century. Pelosi represents San Francisco. Look at that. Like, she's worth $60 million. Yeah. Look at California. Yeah, Biden. He almost made me, like, just lose hope in American rationality, because I know he was up against Trump and he's not loved. So, it's like, man, I can imagine a lot of people being like, it's a lose-lose. But you had 4 years of Trump. 4 more years wouldn't have affected your life much different any fucking way. But then Biden, this is somebody who's so full of shit and so terrible at politics that in the 80s he lied so retardedly idiotic that there was nonstop late night experts, political experts, talking about his political career is done, and then we just put him in the White House because us compared to people in the 80s, we're fucking dumb. All right, see you guys later.